Hello, this is Adam Watson at Watson EdTech, and I'm here to, through the screencast, show you a common error that's happening inside of Flipgrid. And it involves when students are trying to leave a video response, they may be able to look at and view the Flipgrid you created, but they can't do a video response because they try to log in and there's an error message. So first off, the article that I'm about to show you is very helpful and it goes through the steps and directions, and I will definitely highlight and link this in the description for this video. But scrolling a little bit, I just want to show an example of what that error message might look like from the student side. So they go to your Flipgrid, they click the record button, it asks them at that point to come in with an account, but regardless of what button they may hit, it will come up with some kind of error message to the effect of your email is not allowed, contact your educator. Well, you're the educator, they contacted you, and you're like, what do I do next? I don't know what that means and how to fix that. Keep in mind that for us here in Shelby, we don't have a district license, so there's no way that we on a district level can push out or fix the thing I'm about to show you. So for each personal teacher account that does a Flipgrid, the steps I'm about to show you is what they're going to have to do. So let me pivot now and show you the steps in action. First thing you have to do is obviously log into your Flipgrid account. When you do, you're going to notice that the admin.flipgrid.com that's located here is what you should see as far as the URL. And if for some reason it wasn't, that's where you would go. Once you're logged in, the first tab that you're going to see is the one that's called the Discussion tab. There's other tabs here, but that doesn't matter for the purpose of our screencast. And then when you scroll down a little bit, you should see a 2-tab here of topics and groups of your Flipgrids. So let me explain the difference with that. Topics is basically each individual Flipgrid. And there could be dozens of those, depending on how many you've made. Groups, on the other hand, is think of it like organizationally like a folder. So, or a class, if you will. So these particular groups, of which I have 2, are where all of my topics or individual Flipgrids fall inside of. Now here's the reason I'm mentioning all of this. When it comes to the ease of doing this quickly, I'm going to show you going through groups how to fix this, because if you set this permission up for a group like Shelby County EdTech, then any Flipgrids that are inside of that group, that rule will apply. And that will mean that you have a lot less clicking. Otherwise, the permission level is something you're going to have to do for each and every individual Flipgrid, and that would obviously take more time. So again, if possible, do this for a group, and this will by default apply to anything inside of it. So we have gone to the Discussion tab, which by default is where we go. I'm going to show you by going to the Groups tab here, and I'm going to choose one to fix. So let's just go to this Edit group right here. Once you get there, there's some information. And the part that we need to check out is access control, which, by the way, by clicking here on the right side, we can fly to that section of the settings really quickly. Once we get here, we see 2 tabs. This might be what you first see, which is just that this is a public group. And yes, if people go to this particular URL, they can view that information. But it's the private tab that we need to go in order to make our fix. So we want to click here to private. Again, by default, you probably see something about student email. Students join using their Microsoft or Google School email, which is what we want, right? The issue here is right here. The problem is that as you can see, and for me as a professional development ed tech person for my district, I only have by default at shelby.kyschools.us, and that's always worked great for me. And the reason why? Because adult teachers in our district who have that email address are the ones I'm mostly get Flipgrid responses from. But students do not have that, right? As we well know, it's at stu.shelby.kyschools.us. And unless we add that domain, it will block the accounts from working. So all we have to do in order to fix this is paste in here, and I just did it for simplicity's sake to paste, at stu.shelby.kyschools.us. It made a little notice pop up there that it said enter to make this happen, which I will. And now, when I go down here to update group down here at the bottom, I will apply that change. And that's it, we're done. From this point forward, if someone goes to any of those Flipgrids inside of that group that I've created, in theory, that permission should apply, and those STU friends should be able to access the Flipgrid. That is it. It does take some clicks. Again, I'm sorry that we can't push that out on a district level, and that's something that on a teacher by teacher level has to happen, but at least it's a pretty straightforward fix in order to make sure the access and permissions are opened up. So thank you for listening, and hope that you have some fun doing some Flipgrids.